He's one of the most celebrated racehorses of all time. After winning the US Triple Crown in 1973, he came right here to Toronto to finish his career. Today we're talking about the history of Secretariat and Woodbine Racetrack. Still to this day, Secretariat holds the records at the Kentucky Derby, Preakness Stakes, and Belmont Stakes. He was the 9th ever winner of the US Triple Crown, the inspiration of Hollywood movies, books, songs, and is argued by many to be the finest racehorse the world has ever seen. But to top off his illustrious career, it was chosen for him to race one last time, and that was in Toronto at Woodbine Racetrack. It's true, after winning the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness Stakes, the Belmont Stakes, he came right here to finish his career at the Canadian International Stakes race. People know Woodbine Racetrack as where the prestigious Queen's and King's Plate are run, where royalty visits, where Northern Dancer became the only Canadian-bred Kentucky Derby winner to also win the Queen's Plate, and where the Canadian International Stakes race takes place. And in 1973, Secretariat took to the gates at the Canadian International on a brisk October day at Woodbine to complete his legendary and iconic racing career. The choice to have Secretariat's final race be in Canada at Woodbine Racetrack was personal. Big Red, as he was also known as, was rode by Canadian jockey Ron Turcotte. He was trained by Canadian Lucien Laurin, and his outgoing and wonderful owner Penny was close friends with Canadian horse racing legend E.P. Taylor.
Seems that I'm a Canadian by birth, and so is Ronnie, and to come here with a real champion and finish his career in Canada, which Mrs. Tweedy, because I think it's a good sporting woman to let us come over here and see if we could finish the right way.
Penny saw the global love and excitement around Secretariat and wanted to give him one final showing outside of the US. And the Canadian International Stakes race was the perfect choice to finish off 1973. When Secretariat arrived in Toronto days before the race, the world was there to greet him.
Just a super horse. If everybody in the United States love him, and also in Canada, I certainly should love him too, don't you think?
The world was enthralled with what announcer Chick Anderson called a tremendous machine. His US Triple Crown made him a legend, but the way he dominated the Belmont Stakes that year truly showed the world he was something special. So despite the cold, wet, and foggy weather of race day in Toronto on October 28, 1973, over 35,000 people flocked from all over the world to Woodbine to finally see and send off the greatest racehorse of all time. But something would be different that day. Canadian jockey Ron Turcotte wouldn't be eligible to race. He had just been given a suspension from a prior race. And the memorable owner, Penny Tweedy, Lucien Laurin, and team would decide to have Hall of Fame rider Eddie Maple take the reins instead. Ron Turcotte is remembered as one of the best jockeys of all time, starting out in New Brunswick, working his way up to the winner's circle of the finest races in the world. He didn't get to ride on that cold day at the Canadian International Stakes race at Woodbine, but through the years, he was there at Woodbine Racetrack alongside the likes of Northern Dancer and countless other beautiful horses. When jockey Eddie Maple lined up at the starting gates with Secretariat, the day was chilly and bleak, but the race will be remembered as a beautiful tip of the cap to the year of the tremendous machine.
Kennedy Road has the lead. Secretariat closing up alongside. Kennedy Road by a half a length. Secretariat is right there with him. Again for 7 lengths. And twice lucky third. Presidio cross. Triangular shift. 8 pounds is on the outside. And there he goes. There he goes. Secretariat on the outside. Heading around the turn. Secretariat has the lead. Kennedy Road is second. It is all Secretariat. Coming to the head of the section now in front by about 6 lengths of Kennedy Road second.
Secretariat's 1973 was not just about the victories and glory. It was about more. The interest he garnered was not solely that of horse fans. It was the creation of new fans, of children, families, and cementing his place in popular culture.
He's so good looking. He captures the imagination of not only the race fan, but the children. The children are crazy about this horse.
I want to see Secretariat race. I think Secretariat's a great race.
I think he's so wonderful and so exciting, and he's brought families out to the racetrack, and our mail is full of love and enthusiasm, and I hope that all of this lasts and inures to the benefit of racing.
We came all the way from New York to watch Secretariat run, and we hope he wins.
I think it'll be a terrific. I wouldn't want to miss him for anything.
I don't come that often. I just came today because I want to see Secretariat run.
I come and see Secretariat race.
I feel this is the last chance I might see Secretariat ever race, so I thought I'd come to see him.
Oh, listen, we wouldn't have missed this for anything. If it was 4 feet of snow, we would have come.
On that cold day in Toronto in October, Secretariat brought together people of all walks of life, all proud to be able to say they bid him a fond farewell at Canada's prestigious Woodbine Racetrack. And that is the story of how Big Red, one of the most famous racehorses of all time, finished off his historic year in 1973 right here at Woodbine Racetrack. It's always really cool to be here at track level, although I always find myself a bit intimidated looking to see if some of those beautiful horses are coming my way.